Hello everyone, it's the morning of the 26th, the day after Christmas. We are headed to Woods Landing, Wyoming, near Jelm Mountain for my grandpa's and Noah's second elk hunt. Our first one was back in 2017. This is my dad's fourth or fifth, and then first timers are Gabe and Josiah and our cousin Christian. It's about a 12-hour drive, and we're hoping to get 3 cow elk on this trip. We'll see what happens.
Woods Landing in Wyoming at our cabin at about 9 o'clock. We had some car trouble along the way, which wasn't great.
And a little before the car trouble, I think, we visited Tina and Craig's, and we got to see Jeffrey and Colton. It was only a quick 15-minute stop, so.
And here we're going to introduce you to our cabin. There's a couple sleeping areas, the bathroom right here,
TV.
Kitchen area, dining area, another kitchen area here,
2 beds,
other sleeping areas, another bathroom here, and hopefully we can go hunting tomorrow morning, but we might try and fix the car, and we'll see you tomorrow. So this morning, it's our first day of hunting, the Sunday, the 27th. We're scoping the area, getting used to the land a little bit, in Grandpa's Trailblazer because the excursion, the alternator was broken and there's nothing open today. So there's Red Mountain over there. All that Ring Mountain is right there, and Jelm is behind there, the biggest mountain. So, hope we see something today. See you later. Up to the top of the Red Mountain. It's getting kind of windy and snowy. You can hardly see Jelm Mountain behind us there.
Yeah, there's a wind storm blowing in, snowstorm. And then Grandpa decided to scope from the car somewhere in that direction.
Hope to see some elk soon.
Here's the first herd of mule deer that we saw in Red Mountain. There are 2 bucks in the back. Unfortunately, I was not able to capture them with the video. Here, Dad is doing some calling, hopefully to hear an answer from another elk in the valley below. Unfortunately, this time we don't hear anything.
So we just hiked 6 miles, starting down there all the way around, and we found this strange monument up here, and we're about to go back down, back to the car.
Here's the first herd of elk that we saw. Unfortunately, they were all in Colorado. Alright, so after our morning hike of about 6 hours, we just saw some mule deer, but we had lunch, and then this other hunter came up and said that some resident elk were down on the south part of Red Mountain, and so we decided to hike another 7 miles to that, and on the south side of Red Mountain.
And once we got there, we saw a herd of about 70 elk, about a mile away.
So tonight we're gonna have dinner and watch the Packer game.
And then we're gonna have eggs, sausage, and potatoes for dinner.
We hope to get the excursion fixed to use it tomorrow. See you then.
Okay, here we are on Monday, December 28th, after an exciting day of looking for an alternator. Over to you, Pete.
Well, Camden and Dad went into town while the rest of us, we were hoping to use some of these bullets, but we didn't get a chance to. Drove up Jelm Mountain and we did scope some elk on the other side of Red, and then we drove around Ring Mountain and close to Red Mountain, and we scoped some more elk that were on the wrong section, so we didn't get to stalk them either. And then we headed back up Jelm, got some good intel from somebody on the mountain there, and hopefully we're able to get back out there in that place tomorrow or the next day. But it started snowing, and it's still snowing a little bit, so we'll see how it goes. But then we just came back and hung out until these guys got home from their adventure.
Thank you. Camden and I left around 07:30. We were supposed to get into Laramie about 8, but our truck stopped 12 miles outside of Laramie, and we waited for somebody to jump us so we could finish the trip. And 21 cars passed by on the other side. And then a retired gentleman from our lodge here stopped by and jumped us, and we completed the trip into town with Pastor Adam Lambrecht following us and shepherding us to Miner's Auto Repair.
I don't have much more to say.
Oh, okay, I'll continue then. Well, we found out that we needed a alternator, and we couldn't get one till 3 in the afternoon. So Camden and I went shopping to Walmart, getting our comestibles for the evening supper. And then we still had 3 hours to kill. So we drove around looking for things, and we had to be jumped at the tire store again. And we got back to Miners and just sat there. I took a big nap. Camden worked on his videos. And we finally got the part, and I got to see an old garage that was filled with stuff that I really enjoyed looking at.
Well, and I guess another thing is I talked to somebody who missed a 6x6 up on Jelm, and you talked to somebody in town about a place on Jelm, close to where the other guy was hunting. So it looks like we might have a good spot to go to, but we'll see if we can get up there. You bought some chains for the truck too.
We saw a great picture of a 6x6 that weighed 1,000 pounds. It was a wonderful picture that somebody else took.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hope we get our own pictures of elk, though.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't
It'd
it?
be good.
We have been working so hard.
Sitting in vehicles all day.
Out of
That's great.
Well, yes.
That's the way it is.
But we
you
did.
know. When you elk hunt, you gotta put in the time.
Yeah.
Even
Well,
in Laramie, you gotta put in the time.
We put in 14.5 miles yesterday, and we just sat in cars all day today. But
Well,
maybe do some hiking tomorrow.
Camden and I drove about 50 miles total.
Well,
I mean, that's tough.
that's a
too.
lot of work.
Yeah. So, I guess that's all for
Yeah,
today.
it was tough for us too, just looking through binoculars and eating jerky.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't have it that hard.
All right. Hopefully we'll have a good story about some elk tomorrow.
It is Tuesday the 29th. We just got to the top of Jelm Mountain. Grandpa, Christian, and Josiah went to town to get the tire fixed on the Trailblazer. We are hoping they come back soon to join us and hoping we see some elk soon.
It's about noon. We stopped for lunch at the middle of Jelm. Our vehicle, the Excursion, myself, my dad, and Noah, we're gonna head to Red Mountain and hopefully catch some the Colorado elk coming up north. Grandpa, Gabe, Josiah, and Christian, they're gonna stay here and watch the western plains and watch the northern side of Ring Mountain. Hopefully we see something this afternoon. We were on Red Mountain when we saw these elk. They are currently in Colorado, unfortunately. The video shows about a third of the size of this herd. There are also 2 other herds, and so we saw about 1,000 elk.
After lunch, Grandpa, Christian, Josiah, and I stayed at a spot on top of Jelm where we could see all 3 mountains. We scoped the area for a while, but we couldn't see anything. We came back at around 3 o'clock, and we made chicken for supper.
And then Camden, Dad, and I, we drove up Red Mountain and stopped to scope for some elk. We saw 3 herds totaling about 1,000, which was pretty crazy. Then we went up further, got out to hike to try to find some sign of elk, and later we found tracks, fresh tracks, and followed those for quite a while. And then I saw 1 elk out of the corner of my eye, but so we went up to try to follow it, but didn't see anything. And we just kept following tracks because they just kept going. And as we were going, there were some monuments, sculpture things that we saw, and yeah, that was kind of weird. And then we kept following tracks, they just kept going, and all of a sudden they stopped and we couldn't see anymore, so we tried to walk back. Then we found some more tracks, followed those for a few hours actually, and we noticed that they passed right where we had been a couple hours earlier, so if we just stayed there we could have shot a couple elk. And then we kept following the tracks and got a little bit too dark, couldn't really see anything anymore, and then came back to a nice supper.
So today it's Wednesday the 29th. We just came up Red Mountain in the Excursion, and
process by the time we get back.
Gabe and Grandpa are gonna sit over here in this clearing, and then the rest of us are gonna we're gonna hike for a while and then come back in the evening to sit and watch for elk.
This is one of the biggest elk tracks we saw. It is probably a bull elk, and it is walking towards the right.
So this afternoon after our lunch, we took up our posts at 3 different spots on Red Mountain. Noah went to the south side, and Grandpa and Gabe kind of in the middle, and Camden and me went on the west side of Red Mountain, and we didn't see anything. And then we came back the long bumpy road and had some spaghetti for supper, and now we're getting ready. We're gonna get a good night's sleep and get out to Jelm Mountain tomorrow and hopefully scope some, or we're gonna do some hiking there too.
So it is Thursday the 31st, and it is our last day of hunting. Me, Josiah, Gabriel, and Grandpa are going into Laramie for the day, and Camden, Noah, and Uncle Pete are going hunting up to Jelm. Hope they see some elk. From the way it went these last few days, we hope all the more. So
Now we're hiking on the north side of Jelm. We've heard that this is a good area, although it is a long hike down here. We've gone 2.5 miles down, so we're gonna have to go 2.5 miles up again. We've already seen a moose and an owl. Hopefully we come up on some elk. So we made it to the top of Jelm. There's an observatory up here. We're pretty tired, hiked a long way. There's the observatory, but we can explain more when we see you guys back at the cabin.
Well, me, Grandpa, Kristen, Josiah, were at Laramie. We went to Sonic for lunch, and when we drove back, we saw about 400 antelope, 10 deer, and 3 whitetail deer that were on someone's driveway. When the others came back from hunting, we had sloppy joes for dinner.
Camden, Dad, and I hiked Jelm, and we hiked the north side down for a few hours. And then after a few hours, we caught some elk tracks. So we followed those for a while. Every once in a while, we could smell the elk. And in the middle of it, we stopped. Camden looked over, and on the other ridge, he was like, "Oh, there's an elk." And then Dad was like, "No, that's a bull moose." So we sat there and tried to get some good pictures of that for a little bit. And then we started walking again, kept following the tracks, kept smelling it, but we never really caught up. We were tracking them for about 5 miles, and we were really getting tired. And then we ran out of water, so we had to eat snow for the rest of the way to stay hydrated. And we kept going, and we started going back up because we didn't really have much time to get up before dark, and we were getting really tired. And then we got back up. Dad went down to the excursion, and Camden and I went up to the observatory way at the top of Jelm. We got some good views, good pictures and videos of that. And then we came back and had a nice supper. And then after supper, we played sheep's head, all of us, and had some snacks and sparkling wine. And then it was a fun night.
So it's January 1st, Friday, and we're just leaving. We're just in Laramie, getting some gas to head out for the 12-hour drive.
Hello, this is Grandpa Salsley. We just returned from our hunting trip at Laramie, Wyoming, and my favorite part was going up to 8,600 feet and viewing this beautiful, beautiful scenery. About 3 days worth of scenery. That was beautiful. And spending time with my grandkids and my son. That's a highlight.
My favorite part of our trip was when we saw the 5 bull elk at the elk farm.
my favorite part was playing sheep's head. Definitely learning it for the first time.
My favorite part was probably Grandpa's cooking and good talks on the drive.
My favorite part was probably our last hike on our second to last day of hunting, where it was pretty flat and only 3 miles, and we had a lot of fun and got to see the scenery of all the mountains.
My favorite part was seeing the bull moose that we never expected to see at all.
My favorite part was enjoying God's creation and spending time with my children and nephew and my dad.
So yes, unfortunately, we did not get any elk. but I think I speak for all of us when I say that the trip was still totally worth it. We got to meet some of the nicest people in Wyoming. We got to enjoy God's beautiful creations, and we got to create some unforgettable memories with our family.
Yeah, we
Lay an
were all being like,
I just closed the door. Holy cow. I grew fat. Had snaps.
I am still amazed that our just and powerful God created something for us that is so peaceful and yet majestic. I am truly humbled to have experienced this scenery, since I feel as though I don't deserve to see it. This experience has caused me to be thankful for friends, family, the memories we share, and God's beautiful creation.